This is big breaking news. The White House has just warned that they are about to sign an executive order that could cause major changes in all 50 states. Some states are resisting it, like California. They are openly against this, and other states will be happy, I'm sure, to comply. We're getting warnings from Trump himself and from the White House Secretary, Karoline Levitt. So let's get into all the details here. You guys can see this was just posted earlier today. This was the White House press briefing, and she is warning that President Trump is about to sign an executive order that could cause major changes. Trump also posted on his Truth Social about voting in California and SNAP benefits. And we have this warning I wanted to show again from the sheriff in California, right? Trump actually reposted this warning that I posted about a week ago now. All right, so let's get into all the details here. Let's listen to press secretary and what she has to say about this executive order.
The president posted on Truth Social that the voting underway in California is, quote, rigged. What evidence does he have of that, and what does it mean that mail-in ballots in that state are under legal and criminal review? By whom and why? And also, in this vein, does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting, and what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
Rigged.
Fraudulent ballots that are being mailed in the names of other people, in the names of illegal aliens who shouldn't be voting in American elections. There's countless examples, and we'd be happy to provide them. As for executive action the White House is taking, yes, we are looking into that. And like any executive order, of course, any executive order the president signs is within his full executive authority and within the confines of the law. Stephen.
Thank you, Karoline.
All right, so you heard that there, and they were referencing this post here from Trump. He said the unconstitutional redistricting vote in California is a, quote, giant scam, and that entire process, in particular the voting itself, is, quote, rigged. All mail-in ballots where the Republicans were in that state are, quote, shut out, is under very serious legal and criminal review. Stay tuned. All right, so he is warning that they are looking into any Republicans that are going to be shut out of their normal districts, okay? Because there's normally a few Republican seats in California, and this new redistricting would eliminate all of the Republican House seats in the U.S. House of Representatives for California, right? So this is a big deal. It would cause the Republicans, I believe there's 6 seats in California. There's 4 or 6, I can't remember off the top of my head. But it would cause the Republicans to lose those seats in the House and potentially even lose control of the House of Representatives if this passes as well too. So this is very big, right? This affects things on a federal level as well too. It's not like it only affects California, it affects things federally, and there are discrepancies in the voting processes. This is a video I played about a week ago of the San Joaquin County Sheriff warning what's actually going on with voting there. Let's listen to this really quick just to, remind everyone what he said.
It's structured. We see quite a few flaws. You're able to register even and cast a vote if you don't live in the country, as evident of his brother in Pakistan. And I think we have some evidence of 2 or 3 other people out of the country that have voted. Is that correct?
Yeah, approximately 2 or 3 other people out of the country, as well as people residing outside of the district.
Okay. The online voter registration system, it seems to be an honor system. Anybody can put information in there to register and vote. All you have to do is click a box and say that you're not lying, and then you'll get an email from the Secretary of State or something in the mail saying, thank you for registering to vote. And there you are. Once you're on the voter rolls, anytime an election comes around, guess what? You get mailed a ballot, right? You get mailed something to vote. So we found that a little bit problematic.
All right, so he said it's an honor system. Anyone can register to vote. He said there's a lot of people that don't even live in the county that are voting, and especially people in surrounding counties are voting and influencing their local elections. And he said there was even a man registered to vote in Pakistan and was getting a ballot mailed to him and an address in Pakistan. Absolutely insane what's going on. And this is happening in a lot of states. Okay, probably most states this is happening, at least to some level. Whether it's intentional or non-intentional, it is happening, and it's a major problem. I think some places it might be intentional, right? I think some areas maybe it's just, people aren't paying attention, rural areas, but this is very concerning, right? And they can influence state laws being passed, like this redistricting, which then influences how many Republican representatives are in the House of Congress, which then influences who controls the House and which laws get passed, right? This is big, that someone potentially living in Pakistan can be voting in an election like this in California that has federal influence. It influences everyone else, okay? And potentially some of these people are slipping through the cracks as well, and even voting in federal elections as well too, right? We're told that these things are more secure, but are they really? We don't really know. Hopefully they are. But these things are happening, right? These cracks in the system are here, and this is what the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Department is warning of, right? And he gave this warning because he's worried about this vote as well too. So Republican states are most likely going to respond. Some states already are doing it, like Ohio and Texas, and eliminate some Democrat seats. But to completely eliminate it all throughout California is a drastic move, because California definitely has lots of red areas. A lot of the northern areas and rural areas in California are actually pretty conservative areas, right? And heavily support Trump. And then they will have no representation in Congress for their legislation and their ideas that they want pushed on the federal level. So this is a federal issue. That's why Trump is looking into this, and they're saying they're investigating this as well too, and he's going to potentially sign an executive order. I think it'll be along the lines of the states have to provide their voter rolls to the federal government for auditing, because they've been trying to request it, but a lot of states have been denying it. So I think that'll be part of the executive order. I'm just guessing here. And I think potentially even nationwide voter ID requirements and identity verification requirements, whatever it is, some way to verify identification for federal elections. Okay, I think that's going to be happening soon as well too. But another issue with that is that I've been reporting on, even in just the past few days, how there are millions of people that have been issued social security numbers that entered the country illegally or through asylum means, things like that, that aren't U.S. citizens. Okay, so they shouldn't have voting rights. Maybe some of them are here legally for, like refugee or asylum status, things like that. Some of them here illegally, and were given social security cards and numbers, millions of them. Okay, I just reported on this in the past few days, And this is concerning because that's one of the main ways that they use to verify people's identity inside the United States for these programs and benefits and things like that. So they're going to have to think of some other way to verify identity that through a federal system. That's one of the ways the federal government does too, because they don't have access to everyone's birth certificates. Those are down on a state level and even county level. But the Social Security numbers are done through Social Security Office, which is a federal government system. That's why they use it for everything. But my point here is even that system is potentially compromised and might not be 100% verifiable, right, if they're using that as a database. So just be ready, because there's lots of elections coming up, right? Midterms are going to be here in 2026. They're having this vote in New York. They just had an election in Virginia. It looks like the Democrats have won, and by a wide margin, which is kind of strange because Republicans won last time. They have a Republican governor, and now Democrats have won by a very wide margin. Who knows what's going on? But they have won that state, and it's looking like New York might swing to this guy, Zoran, or whatever his name is, Mandami. I can't remember what his name is, but you know who I'm talking about, the guy who they've really been pushing for New York, that's been saying a lot of wild things, a lot of wild policies he wants to bring here. Here's another benefit for Trump, or another update. I was reading SNAP benefits here for Trump and for SNAP benefits. It says SNAP benefits, which increased by billions and billions of dollars during crooked Joe Biden's disastrous term in office, due to the fact that they were haphazardly handed out to anyone asking for, as opposed to those in need, which is the purpose of SNAP, will be given only when the radical left Democrats open up government, which they can easily do, but not before. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump, right? So he is warning that they're going to use this money, okay? They have this emergency fund. So I wanted to play this here because she addressed it. They have this emergency fund that's supposed to be for natural disasters and, a war, things like that. But they're going to tap into this fund to pay people around half of their benefits, but that's going to take weeks to get, right? And Trump's saying that after that's gone, then that's it, right? And they're not going to have any more money to pay, and people won't get any more money until the government reopens. So let's listen to this really quick.
I'll clear up some confusion about SNAP benefits, because the president just posted that they will only be given out when the radical left Democrats open the government and not before. Mm-hmm. But just yesterday, the administration said it would comply with a court order to expend the full amount of SNAP contingency funds by end of business day yesterday. So did the administration distribute that money or defy that court order?
No, the administration is fully complying with the court order. I just spoke to the president about it. The recipients of these SNAP benefits need to understand it's going to take some time to receive this money, because the Democrats have forced the administration into a very untenable position. We are digging into a contingency fund that is supposed to be for emergencies, catastrophes, for war. And the president does not want to have to tap into this fund in the future. And that's what he was referring to in his Truth Social post. So the Department of Agriculture, as for the latest SNAP payment in the judge's order, put out guidance to states today on how to get that money to the recipients of SNAP. But it's going to take some time. The best way to get the full amount of SNAP benefits to those beneficiaries is for Democrats to reopen the government. So to anyone who is a SNAP beneficiary at home who needs that assistance, and the president was just saying, this is for people who are truly needy, who need food, who need this assistance from the United States government. Democrats are holding it up and making it difficult for the administration to get those payments out the door. So if you are at home and you want your SNAP benefits, call the Democrats and tell them to reopen the government.
Blocking that contingency fund for the future. if this shutdown lingers on?
Look, the president does not want to have to continue to dip into a contingency fund that doesn't even have enough money, by the way, to fund the full program. It takes $9 billion to get the full scale of the benefits out the door. This contingency fund only has about $5 billion in it. So again, Democrats need to reopen the government so we can get these benefits out the door for people who truly need them. Kate.
Thanks.
All right, so you heard that there. Just some clarification so everyone knows what's going on with these benefits. It's been a lot of confusion. 1 second it's saying there's nothing, 1 second they're saying they're paying some of it. So they're clarifying they are paying half, but this money's not going to last long. It's going to run dry quick, and it's going to take weeks for people to get. And Trump is calling out potential fraud and abuse in this program as well too, and warning that these things need to be investigated, and they might be investigated. Right, I think that's in the cards as well too. I think the USDA, once this is cleared up, they're going to issue new guidances and new rules for the SNAP program. So essentially a lot of people have to reapply, and they might not be eligible anymore, because there actually was a work requirement and a job search requirement to these benefits, but they were suspended, I believe, during 2020 and all that mess. Okay, they suspended a lot of the requirements that people needed to get them, and I think they just never reinstated the work requirements. Like, where it's very, I think you have to work a certain amount of hours per week if you're able-bodied, most individuals, and you have to be applying and show proof that you applied to a certain amount of jobs every week or something like that too, or every month. I'm not sure exactly, but there's a lot of like re-verification and certification things that they normally need to do to keep the benefits going, and a lot of those requirements were suspended in 2020 during the shutdowns and all that, when a lot more people actually did need it because the government forced the economy to shut down. But things are different now, and these rules were never changed and never went back. So I think that's going to be part of it too. It's not like that in every state. I think some states still have it, but I believe SNAP will potentially implement this federally as a part of their rules and regulations. So I think we're going to see changes to that as well too once everything's back to normal and it's fully funded. So let me know what you guys think down below. Hope you guys are staying safe, staying prepared out there. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.